listening to A Band of Gamers, podcasting since 2012. Three older best mates share a few laughs and keep you current with discussions about the latest news, consoles, and games. Join the conversation and the community. abandofgamers.com. Hello, welcome back. You're listening to ABOG, A Band of Gamers. What's going on?
Podcast.
That's right.
Okay, we'll try it again.
What's a podcast?
Right?
I was trying to explain that to my buddy today. He's like, what's a podcast? I'm like, oh, man.
Kind of like, I guess, a little a mini radio show.
It's like an RSS feed and like, nah, don't ask me. I'm the wrong person to ask.
You should have said, just listen and find out. There you go. Boom.
That's right. What do you guys talk about? Video games? Yeah. What, like new video games? Yeah.
Yeah.
The second yes was less sure.
Do you guys ever talk about old video games? Like, yeah. A little bit. Well, in this episode, we're going to be talking about, well, there's some shakeups. The PlayStation 5 launch lineup, good and bad. GameStop and XBOX strike a deal with digital content.
What?
Right? Thank you. I was going to say what there. Thanks for kicking my back. Does Game Pass have a future on Switch or PS5?
Ooh.
A big game that Carl was looking forward to is delayed into next year. With the new Xbox and PlayStation out this week, we also are going to share some of our favorite games and moments of this past generation. Can we call it a past generation?
I think just about, yeah, a couple of days ago. By the time the show's out at the past generation, I think.
That's right. Xbox
we're
will
seeing
be
into
out.
the future.
We've got NHL at 94 Rewind, Need for Speed Hot Pursuit Remastered, and an Extra Life recap. Carl is still with us here. Looking pretty chipper too, man. You look like you got your Z's. Looking good.
Yeah. I'm alive.
Well, I'm Joel, your MC, one of your three co-hosts, recording in Brookfield, Wisconsin, USA. Joining me on this podcast journey, first of all, from Birmingham, England, who needs sleep, right? It's Carl. Hi, Carl.
Hello. Yeah, apparently so. Yeah, no, I didn't need much sleep. Been awake for 24 hours yesterday and got about 6 hours and then, rubbed the sleep from my eyes and cracked on with the day. So, yeah, I don't actually feel too bad. We'll come on to it later, but yeah, pretty all right.
Friggin' beauty.
Yeah, he's looking sharp. Looking dapper as always. How much sleep do you need usually? I'm like a 6-hour guy. 6 hours of sleep. If I go to bed early, I'm popping up really early. So you got to kind of plan it. Where you at? 6 hours? Is that your normal thing, or is that just for Extra Life?
No, I think 6 hours is about the norm, to be fair. Any more than that, and I tend to wake up more tired. Bizarrely, like if I have too much sleep, I'm good for nothing, man. But generally, somewhere between 5 and 6 hours I'm fine with that.
Waking from a power nap just recently, maybe. I don't know. Trying to segue here. From Vancouver, Canada, low cheese, 1T. It's Shane. What's happening, Shane?
That's me, man. Yeah, man. I've been lots of NHL lately, man. Lots of video games, playing lots of hockey, man. So those low cheese 1Ts, man. T-drags on the B-way. That's what we do. Keep them entertained.
I love it. That's like your new thing. Catchphrases.
Right.
Canadian catchphrases, I think. Is that Canadian? Low cheese 1T? What is that?
No, it's just hockey nerd stuff.
Well, then I'm going to say it's Canadian. Yeah.
Yeah. A couple of my buddies are they still play and whatnot. So they having a conversation with these guys once in a day, every so often. It's just like, man, I'm trying to keep up, man. I'm trying to keep up. And I played hockey for many, many years. But, it's good times, man. We're getting in the winter season. The ODR, it should be good.
There it is. The weather. Winter.
Yep.
That's all it is in winter here. How's the weather? It's fucking cold. What do you need to know? Well, how cold? Really fucking cold. Either fucking cold or really fucking cold. That's weather here in the winter.
And you wonder why I don't want to move to Milwaukee.
Nah, it's actually really it's great here, Carl. I'm still working on Carl.
Wonderful.
Working on Carl and Faye to move to Milwaukee. I just totally screwed that one up.
It's 30 degrees all the time. I don't know what the weather's like because I can't go outside. We're all locked down again. So it looks cold though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Are they going around welding doors shut over there? Or? You can't go outside. You can go outside.
Yeah, I use the term lockdown really loosely. It's a lockdown light.
Nice.
You know? It's like the digital only version of the console.
Nice.
That's cool.
Well, speaking of the consoles, PlayStation 5 has got a little bit of a different launch lineup here. A couple things have changed. Destruction AllStars was moved from the launch window, or the launch day, I guess, to February. But it will now be part of PlayStation Plus.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm so happy. Because these games are expensive, right, chaps? And this looked kind of cool. It was like, I'll give that a try. But it's one of them dilemmas, isn't it? You're not going to drop full value on this. So I think they were thinking, we'll drop it out at launch and we've got a chance to build a community and all the rest of it. But it's an expensive game and it could get lost. So I don't think it's a bad idea. And to give it away on Plus, I think it's a great way to try and build a community up and try and give the game a chance to succeed. Maybe, at a point in time when everyone's played through the launch games and maybe a couple of other ones, and they've got a bit of time to invest.
Yes, it looked like a fun little game from what I saw. But you bring Bugsnax to PS Plus, then we're cooking with gas, man. So fingers crossed they can bring that over to Plus.
Well, funny you mention it. Before we get there, though, why is this free all of a sudden? I kind of have that dubious mindset. Like, is there going to be a lot of microtransactions? So therefore, let's make it free and we'll make our money a different way. Is it maybe not a great polished game, so they didn't want to charge full price? Or is it just a very generous gift from a very giving Sony?
Right. I think it just might be, on their timeline, that first quarter might be a little, low on new titles. Right. And, they got to put a PS5 game in every month they don't have to. They can do whatever they want, really. But, to keep in line with what they did on PS3 and PS4, they would have to offer something up. It just might be a low time. We'll toss that on there and, have a play.
I was thinking about that now that you say,
really,
adding. I genuinely was, and now that they've added a PS5 game in February, and obviously Bugsnax is going to drop for PS5 in November. They've kind of set the stall out, haven't they? That they're now going to be including PS5 games in there. So you'd assume that perhaps they have a digital gift or two up their sleeves for December and January. But are we just assuming that there's going to be that kind of full price game PS5 title along with a couple of PS4 ones now? They haven't really announced that, I guess. We just assume.
I don't know. I'm not sure they haven't announced it, and there's not a lot available right yet for PS5, like exclusive games.
Yeah.
So it'd be tough to say there's going to be one a month because, you need more to choose from to be able to say there's one a month. That seems like something that would come later on in the console life cycle. You're going to have the PS4 game library that they give you right there at launch as part of PlayStation Plus. What do they call that? I forget the catchphrase for that. Shane, do you know the catchphrase for that?
It was the PS Plus collection, I think they called it.
Yeah.
There you go. The one.
Well, Bugsnax, though, we're talking about that. That is going to be included as a launch game, right? Is it a launch game?
Seems
launch window. It's first month.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah. I think it's a launch title.
Well,
it's on PS4 and PS5, I think.
Oh, is it? Okay. And Sony's announced that it's going to be a PlayStation Plus game. So that will be coming.
Excellent.
Also there at launch.
It could be fun.
Yeah, again.
Looks like a nice little charming, cute little game.
Why are they doing this? They don't need help selling consoles. They don't have any to sell. They're all bought, right? So what's going on here? Why are these two games? Maybe it is what you guys are saying. Maybe it's the beginning of the PlayStation 5 games being included as part of that service. Or they're not great games.
Maybe they're not great. Yeah, I mean, with Bugsnax, it looks cute and looks quirky, and I'll play it if it's free for sure. But again, it comes down to that price point, doesn't it? Of these next generation games, like you're not going to. I'd struggle to think who's dropping £70 on Bugsnax or £60 or whatever the price is. So maybe they've looked at it and thought, you know what, let's give people a little something. I don't know, but I guess we'll find out in December and see what their offerings are there. But It's not bad for free. I think, if you're getting this and you've got the pre-installed game, the Astro game, it kind of takes the pressure off people buying games straight away, maybe. So,
well, it's very generous. It's nice that they're putting them in there for free. There's part of that service, not free, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Hopefully they're good. They look like they might be good games. Destruction AllStars, like combination, third-person shooter and Rocket League, almost like Battle Cars, more Twisted Metal kind of thing.
A little, yeah, definitely, yeah.
And Bugsnax, just a cute little, I guess, kind of family-looking, quirky little title.
3D platform-ish type kind of thing. Yeah, I don't know. It looks neat. I'm looking forward to that one, actually.
What they also announced here, November Crash Collection and Blops 3, Call of Duty, Black Ops, Zombie Chronicles Edition. That's all. Is that part of Plus as well?
It is, yeah. Yeah, the Zombie Edition of Black Ops 3 is part of Plus. I'm chuffed about the Crash Collection because I've never really played any of those Crash games or Spyro. So hopefully they'll drop Spyro in there again in the next month or two. But I think it's a bit of a step up. We've had a few slower months on Plus the last few months. So chuffed with this one.
The next time we record, you guys are going to have those PlayStation 5s. The Tower of Power.
Ooh.
Maybe.
Oh, that's right. Shane's got pushed out, didn't it?
Possibly. They just said they may not be able to. I haven't gotten an update yet, but yeah, it is what it is, man. It takes a couple extra weeks. I'm good, man. I'm good. We all right. I'll probably have my Miles Morales, what is it, the collector complete collection or something. All of that sitting on the shelf, ready and waiting.
Yeah. You're gonna wait for the Tower of Power to play that one? Not split?
Yes.
I would.
Yeah, I did. I got the PS5 version, so yeah, looking forward to that, man. This game's gonna be beautiful, man. Christmas time, brilliant. Let's go.
Yeah, I should have mine. I think mine's coming a week on Friday, so might get a day with it, maybe a day and a half before we record. So looking forward to it. There's been some really good stuff coming out, especially around like the controller and stuff. It's it does look pretty cool. Looks like it might be worth my money, but we'll find out.
Yeah, all the impressions that have come out of that controller. I know there was some reviews alongside, what's that little robot game called? Astrobot, the pack-in with the controller, and now reading reviews for Miles Morales, the Spider-Man, and that controller. I'm envious, man. That controller looks like it might be a nice enhancement for a next-generation console, whereas the Xbox Series X and Series S, it's kind of the same controller. They didn't add new functionality, I guess. A little bit more ergonomic.
Yeah, changed up the D-pad on the Xbox controller, no? There's actually...
Yeah, the D-pad's different.
With that, yeah.
Yeah, and then they added a little, some grippies on the triggers and stuff. Some of the things that are on the Elite 2. But from what I'm hearing about that PlayStation 5 controller and what I'm reading, that's like a true next-gen step right there.
It's sounding like the real deal.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, a lot of good things coming. Looking forward to getting the hands on it, getting the feel, and experiencing that DualSense.
And hopefully it's utilized by developers. You remember when we got the PlayStation, was it the 3? And they had that rubber ducky game, which used like the motion controls in the PlayStation controller.
Oh, yeah.
But then no other games really use that functionality.
Well, I mean,
a little bit.
High velocity bowling was great.
You're right, though. It was.
And
Pain Killzone did, didn't it? When you could hold the controller and turn the wheel. Was that Shadowfall? I can't remember now. It was one of the Killzone games where you'd hold it and you'd turn like a wheel and just shut the valve off or whatever and stuff like that.
But after all that, they sort of got away from that extra technology.
Yeah.
I read from the sound of it how cool this is. I think it's not as gimmicky, having the haptic feedback and the different rumbles that they've added there. I think it's going to be something that at least first party will hold on to and utilize.
For sure. It seems like more of an experience than gimmicks or some.
Yeah, and the same thing happened with PlayStation 4 now that I think about it, the touchpad. Very few developers use that thing. Even first party barely used that touchpad on that controller.
Outside of bringing up a map.
Yeah.
But at least, hey, you hit that button and there's your map. Basically any game.
That's true. GameStop, which, we're hypothesizing over a lot of different episodes are going to be going away, and they've had a lot of closures. We talked about that. They just struck a deal, and this was an odd one. They struck a deal with Xbox and Microsoft for digital content. So here we got a store that's in business, brick and mortar store that's in business selling hard copy discs, making a deal with digital content. I know. Shane's got the furrowed eyebrow look. I felt the same way, Shane. It's like I read into this. This was reported in Ars Technica. And Loop Capital analyst Anthony Chukumba, I should have planned that better there, read that beforehand, confirmed that same basic outline to Ars Technica. He said that the way it's going to work is for every Microsoft Xbox console that GameStop sells going forward, GameStop will get some percentage of the revenue from every digital full game download, DLC, microtransaction, as well as subscriptions. So if they sell an Xbox, the person buying the Xbox from GameStop, any digital content they buy, GameStop will get a percentage of that.
So they're basically investing in GameStop. Is really about it. They're just sending them money.
You think?
I mean, they're going to be selling Xboxes regardless.
Well, it's going to cause GameStop to be pushing the hell out of the Xbox.
You'd think.
Yeah, totally.
But this is just weird.
Yeah,
to give them a percentage of the revenue from every digital full game download, DLC, microtransaction. You're just writing checks.
Everyone well, they didn't say how much of a percentage, but a percentage.
No, but still though.
But everything. So if someone buys a console from GameStop, the Xbox, forever apparently, that box is utilized by that person, and they buy anything digitally, they're getting a piece.
It feels like future proofing a little bit to me to a degree. I'm assuming that GameStop trades used games as well as brand new. Was it brand new?
What do you mean?
No, there's a lot of used.
So
they sell a ton of used.
Yeah, so that's where the margins are, right? So they're probably going to be looking at the situation thinking Microsoft and Sony are selling digital only consoles. So if it ever goes full digital, then one of the biggest earners is going to go bump. They'll never make anywhere near the money they would make from selling physical used games, but maybe they're thinking a little kickback is better than nothing, So at least if they are selling these digital consoles for Microsoft, then they're getting a little something back, as well as knowing that they'll never get those games traded back in and that they can sell again.
I just don't know what Microsoft is getting out of this deal. I'm sure it's great. I'm sure it's great for GameStop. They're like, yes, we'd love a piece of that. But what is Microsoft getting out of it except for maybe the shelf space, the push? But when you go into a GameStop and someone says, I don't know which console to get. Well, here, get an Xbox. That's the one you want.
But again, like if you're a GameStop employee, I don't know if it will make any difference to the person selling it, but I guess the store's policy would probably be like, right, it doesn't matter whether we sell the disc version of the Xbox or the digital, because we're going to get the revenue stream going forward. Before then, you can bet your bottom dollar they would want to shift to physical disc version because they'd want them people to sign up for an account with them. They'd want them to bring those games back and trade them if they could. So I guess this will incentivize GameStop to not worry if they're selling the digital version of the Xbox, and also to push the Xbox over the PlayStation, I guess, is the other point. So there's something there for Microsoft to say, well, at least they're going to be, if someone's going to buy digital, then you can bet GameStop are going to be pushing the Xbox rather than the PlayStation.
But there's plenty of other retailers out there. Like, they're going to be selling consoles regardless. I'm really confused by this. They're just basically investing in GameStop, just sending them money because they don't. There's so many other retailers out there. I mean, and they sell them through the Microsoft store as well. So they're making a bigger profit on those sales. Less shipping and a little bit less shipping on there. It's like, this is really weird. Like I honestly think it's just them investing in GameStop and keeping them around. Like,
But why? Why would they care about keeping GameStop around? To your point, there's other retailers.
Yeah.
And
that's why it's so weird.
With Game Pass, it seems like they're more interested in selling subscriptions than they are selling the content, the games.
Oh yeah, I don't think Xbox really too concerned about selling physical games at all anymore, really.
So why would they invest in GameStop, right? I mean, it is, the whole thing is perplexing. I think Carl hit on it. I didn't even think about that. They'll be pushing more of the digital consoles. I think that's a really good point. I was thinking more of if somebody comes in and says, which should I get? They're just going to obviously force the Xbox recommendation over the PlayStation because of the piece they get. But that's a really good piece. Xbox has got a $299 Series X. Very reasonably priced. The PlayStation 5 digital is what? $399? $450, I think?
Maybe.
No, I think it's like $450, isn't it? It's like $50 difference.
Well, up here it's it's $499, but regardless, I mean $399 we'll go with.
I think it's $399 here as well, and $450 for the one with the disc. But that would be it to me. And I think if from Microsoft's point of view as well, they would rather sell the Xbox Series S than the Xbox Series X, I would imagine, because once people get locked into that all digital infrastructure, they're there forever. Like, it is very hard to move across, just from personal experience. My games for PC, for example, are on Steam. When the Epic Game Store opened and you were like, oh man, another, I'm never going to use that, never going to invest in Epic. But because they give free games away every month, all of a sudden, over a period of 12 months, you built up a nice little library of titles, and you look at it and go, oh, actually, it doesn't really matter. I'll probably spend money on the store now. And they give away a game, and if you claim it, like Rocket League, for example, went free to play, and you get a £10 voucher to spend on a game. It's all about maintaining that ecosystem and keeping people involved. So if the Series S is pushed by GameStop, then all of a sudden people subscribe for a year, get invested by games. Yes, they can't trade those games in, but they're also trapped in there with Microsoft. It takes a brave person to walk away from a digital library that you've paid for, and that's probably what will happen over time. Like, you just get comfortable with it. Oh, well, I'll pick that game up. It's only 10 quid. It's only 15 quid. It's I think that's probably what they're banking on.
Yeah, and what's the percentage too? I mean, GameStop is struggling to continue going. So Microsoft could be thinking, sure, you can have a piece since you'll be in business for one more year, and we don't have to worry about it ever again.
Right?
Or
good point.
Or is this a big enough piece where it actually can help them kind of fix their problems? If they get into
keep the lights on,
if they get a little piece like this of the Nintendo and PlayStation as well, could they completely change their business model and kind of keep GameStop around? Because the only time you need to go to a GameStop right now is to buy the console. Because once you got that thing home, you're buying your disc probably on Amazon or something, and you don't really need to go to the store anymore. They're really relevant at console launches. There'll be people lined up outside of GameStop, probably over here in the States. Well, it's probably the only place they would be. They're not in England, GameStop. Well, stupid comment. But it's the only time I see people going to these stores is when consoles come out.
Yeah, true.
Or for the used stuff, but who buys? I don't know. Those used games, it's like the dog chewed on them. It's missing the insert. It's all scratched. They're always in bad shape. They put a bunch of stickers on the box. I don't want the used stuff.
Right. Mind you, I mean, there's some classic games. I mean, even from the the PS3-ish library, 360 library, that I mean, obviously now they're long out of print, and I still have a list of PS3 games if I ever see at Willow or the used shops that I look every time I'm there looking. I want to pick up, but
great point.
So I think there always will be that market. But it's just, I don't know. Who knows? Maybe GameStop's just like really easy to deal with, compared to Best Buy or Amazon or whatnot, I
don't know. At least when I go to Best Buy, I don't have someone who's in my face. The people there at GameStop are always the biggest obstacle. It's like, why do you want that? That's not that. They know it all. It's snotty. You know, you didn't pre-order it. You can't have one. How dare you not pre-order? It's just a bad experience going to a GameStop.
When I went looking for a PS3 and got the, I don't know why you want a PS3. It's just going to die in a couple weeks.
It's like when you take the car to the garage and you ask them to repair and they go, you know, you want an Xbox? You didn't pre-order one. Right? You know, come on, dude. Don't be that guy.
That's all those guys, Carl. It's not a fun experience.
And then there was the infamous Gran Turismo 5 pre-order debacle. But we'll save that for another epi.
I have a whole episode just about GameStop bad experience stories.
Oh.
Fill a 3-hour episode with that one.
Right.
More Xbox news here. Xbox is not opposed to Game Pass on Switch and PlayStation. Phil Spencer, head of Xbox, said to Game Reactor, "We went to mobile next because there's a billion Android phones on the planet." A little bit of a dig at Apple there, by the way. "It's significantly larger than any console player base. We still have iOS to go after. We will come to iOS at some point. We're still working on some of our technology on PC for larger screens in terms of streaming and getting to iOS. And I think once we get through that, we will look at what the other options are. There's smart TVs out there. There's Chromebooks out there. There's Fire TV sticks. There's a lot of discussions we would have. We would prioritize it based on where we would find the most new players that we could naturally bring content to. I love the Switch. I love the PlayStation. Honestly, I think they've done an amazing job as being part of the industry. I'm not sure that those are the next big set of users for us, but we could be open to those discussions." Can you imagine Game Pass coming to Switch? I could totally see that happening. Nintendo and Microsoft, they're neighbors there in Washington. They're friendly with each other. But PlayStation and Microsoft sort of been kind of battling lately. But if it were good for both of them, it would have to be good for Sony too, right? Be certainly good for Xbox. They don't care, right? They'd probably love to put it on PlayStation. Get their $15 a month.
Yeah, that'd be
weird.
It would be weird. PlayStation would have to have something to offer in return. I guess not really offer, but something on the Xbox side that they can offer to take from PlayStation as well, which I just don't see happening. It just seems more of like, you do you, we do we, and all the best. It seems like so.
Yeah, I'm surprised we haven't saw Game Pass on the Switch yet. I thought for sure that was coming. Hasn't happened.
It seemed like it, didn't it? Like it was like almost kind of like a done thing. And
they put Cuphead over there. They put Ori, Will of the Wisps, Microsoft game came to Switch. It just seemed like they were starting to form the relationship. It's a great handheld console. It could totally do that cloud gaming stuff, I would imagine, just like any cell phone could do. Seemed like a no-brainer, but maybe Nintendo doesn't want them. It doesn't want it on there. Maybe they want to maintain their own exclusive nature. They want to be just Nintendo. They don't want Xbox on the Nintendo. Maybe
it's exactly right. And then plus they're trying to build their own online service and whatnot. With the plans and what I'm sure they want to build that up to get to that Game Pass, PS Plus ish, that kind of neighborhood, right?
It's interesting. It's probably a ways out, but I thought it was just an interesting conversation.
It all comes down to money.
Sure does.
If they give Nintendo enough, then I'm sure you'll see it on the Switch. But there is always that chance that it impacts, especially indie games and stuff. The Switch is great for those. They have a lot of those, and they are more expensive on the Switch than than the other consoles. So it could well be something that'll happen in the future, maybe. But it all comes down to cash, And Nintendo, I think they've quadrupled their profits or something this year. They've just been brilliant. Obviously, lockdown has had a great effect on all the video game guys. So Nintendo have smashed it this year. So they're not short of cash.
Yeah, Animal Crossing really pushed a lot of new Switches out to homes. I don't think they're having any problems selling the Switch. I mean, up until recently, you couldn't even find them in the stores. So it's not like they need Game Pass to go sell a lot more Switches. But I would see a lot of Xbox owners who haven't bought a Switch up to this point, if they could play Game Pass on that thing, probably be pretty slick.
I mean, maybe that's what helps inspire like the Switch Pro that was
rumored,
all but announced. I think they did announce that.
No,
they were working on it. At least they acknowledged it. No,
nothing yet. I mean, it seems like it's the worst kept secret. But I don't think they've ever. They haven't said that it's coming or anything like that. They haven't announced it.
But hey, maybe just some better hardware in there to be able to run stuff that's on Game Pass.
Yeah, but now
Could be happening
with the new Xbox app on my iPad and iPhones and Android devices already have the capability there. You can do your cloud gaming right through those devices. Just the benefit of the Switch.
Yeah.
The benefit of the Switch is the fact that it's got an actual proper controller. Just when you play your game on your phone,
yeah,
you got to lug around a controller with you. It's just a much more portable way to play games properly with a proper controller. Not one of those little on-screen analog sticks or whatever that you would have to use, or lug a controller around. And I'm not that guy. I'm not going to lug a controller in my bag. I don't even carry a bag. What the hell am I talking about? I got a phone in my pocket. I'm going to put a controller in my pocket too. Lug that around.
How do you take your lunch to work?
In a bag.
Bring a bag downstairs.
It's a lunch bag. That's different.
You still got a brown bag. Still got to stick with the routine.
Bring back fanny packs so we can carry around our controllers.
Wow. Well, GameStop would do it.
Yep, Xbox branded fanny packs.
Right.
Come on, it's brilliant. Well, big game got delayed. Carl, you want to share the news? It's a game you're looking forward to.
Yeah, and the more it gets delayed, the kind of, I don't know, the more I'm thinking about maybe just waiting for the next generation. But Cyberpunk was delayed again. They literally put out posts on Twitter going, "No more delays. It's ready to go. It's all good." And then there was basically an announcement, which I think even the developer themselves wasn't aware of. The company made the announcement that it was going to be delayed. I think it was 3 weeks, so it was delayed till the 10th of December. I think the main issue is it's just the current gen versions. Bizarrely, like the next gen version, the PC version was fine, and the rest just needed a bit more testing. So, as usual, the internet responded in a very unhappy manner with the usual death threats and everything to the developers, which is just gross. But I think we've had delays before, and it is a game that I'm super excited for. Obviously, being the studio that made The Witcher 3. But I don't know. The longer this gets delayed, all of a sudden, by the time this comes out, the PS5 and the Xbox Series X will be out. You'll be in that next generation. The games won't run. They're not patched specifically for next generation. They're not optimized to run on the consoles. I mean, sure, if the PlayStation Pro version and the Series X version has an unlocked frame rate, then they'll run at 60 frames on the next generation consoles. But if not, then we might find ourselves playing, subpar versions anyway. So I don't know, chaps. I'm hovering over the cancellation from a pre-order, or even just buying it on PC. Like it's £35 on PC as opposed to £50 on console. And Joel, the other week you said to me, "Oh, I assume you're going to be playing on PC," and I was like, "No, I've pre-ordered it on console." But now I'm in an iron over that.
Yeah, I hear the PC one is intact. It's getting delayed because of they're struggling with the console versions, and the rumor has it's specifically the lower level consoles. So like the original Xbox One, not the One X, not the One S, the original Xbox One, not a very powerful console compared to nowadays standards.
Yeah,
and they're trying to make this game run on that one, the PlayStation 4 Amateur, the Xbox Series, Xbox One S, One X, the PlayStation 4 Pro, Series S, Series X, PlayStation 5. They're trying to make that game run on all those consoles. And it's probably a very ambitious game, obviously. But from what I'm hearing, the PC one's fine. Ready to go. But it's their potential struggles on the lower level consoles that may hold it back. It's weird, too. The game's gone gold. It's ready to go. But they're working on the patch. The bugs, apparently. Smoothing it out. But
Yeah,
at what point do you just leave the old consoles behind? And this is the problem
Exactly.
this is the problem that we're going to struggle with, I think, for a while here. They're going to try and get it to work on everything. And because of that, a game this ambitious is just it's going to cough and wheeze. But the old PC model was, which is kind of where we're headed. I think we're already there. A crappy old PC isn't going to run all the new games really well. It's going to cough and wheeze. And those people, they may complain, but it's like, well, tough. You got a piece of crap PC. Go cry to somebody else, right? That's normal in the PC world.
Yeah, totally.
So, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. It's I don't know. It's one of those things where now I'm like, do we need to be worried about the game? We're going to get a disc, and the patch for the disc is going to be huge. The day one patch is looking like it's going to be a serious patch. And I don't know, there's this part of me that is just now thinking, do I just wait for it to land, wait for the reviews, and if there are serious performance issues, I mean, I can't imagine that there would be massive performance issues on the next generation of consoles, but if it's not specifically optimized, then maybe it will just be stuck with the performance levels of the existing ones. So I don't know, I'm torn, fellas, I really am.
I think the longer you wait, if you're patient, the more patching it's going to get. It's a game they're going to stick to, or stand by for many years, I'm sure. Just like they did with The Witcher. I mean, that thing came out on the Switch and apparently runs phenomenal. So if you give them enough time, they'll master it. They'll make them look really great on all the consoles. But they're trying to get this thing out the door right now, and maybe they're getting a little too ambitious with making it great on everything. I don't know, man. I can't imagine you being patient with this game, though. I mean, you want to play this, right? If it comes out, you're not going to sit there and like, yeah, I'll wait 6 months.
Yeah, you see, if it had come out in September, absolutely not. I would have jumped all over it. Even November, I was like, okay, well, it's going to come out and the new consoles are going to arrive. Maybe I can do it. But now this is going to land a few weeks after the new console. So if I'm, engrossed in Assassin's Creed, Valhalla, or Demon Souls or something, maybe even Godfall, who knows? But it is the urge to pick it up and play it. You could wait a few more weeks for Christmas, just pick it up at Christmas and then look at the reviews and everything else. Yeah, I don't know. There's something that's bugging me about it.
Well, before we get these new consoles in the house here, which is really soon, figured we'd go back and look at our favorite moments from the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One. We've got kind of favorite games and favorite moments. I think a little mixing of both here. Let's just go round robin. Let's go through our lists and share kind of what.
Oh, buddy.
What we really
speaking my language. I love a good round robin.
I love it. What we loved about those consoles. And for me, I'll get it started. Number one on my list this generation of consoles was the introduction of Game Pass, which has just been, for Xbox, huge. And it's really brought them back to prominence for, well, at least it helped cover up that really crappy launch they had with their initial plan, which was horrible. And I love Game Pass. I think it's changing the gaming industry and how people buy games and how they consume content. It's allowing people to play games they maybe never would have even thought of playing before. And the fact that every Xbox first-party game is on there immediately at launch. You could get away with not even buying a game, just paying for the monthly sub. If you could live with or just wanted those first-party games and whatever third-party games are in there, there's over 100 games in Game Pass. There's plenty of great games in there. There's been many a times where you guys are running out and buying a game. Like I think Super Mega Baseball 2 was in there, like right at the launch. There's been many examples of games just there right away as part of that service that I didn't.
Streets of Rage?
Streets of Rage 4. I didn't have to buy those games. They're just right there. It's been a great service. And when I look back at this last generation, that's an easy number one for me. Game Pass. Huge.
One for me probably would be PlayStation bringing party chats to the PS4 after the PlayStation 3. I didn't realize back then how big of a deal it really, really was. But now just being able to, fire it up and just chat with friends, not, just like being on the telephone or whatnot and just having my friends in my ear and just, talking about, our lives and whatnot, and not even playing the same games, just doing whatever we're doing, or just chatting, not even playing a game, just having a beer and catching up. And this past, 9 or 10 months is a testament on how much I use that, when things started to go upside down in March, and just every night getting on, talking, to my friends and whatnot, and getting through those first few weeks of the unknown and uncertain together, and just chatting, having a beer, and just talking about stuff. Right? It's just that huge, absolutely huge. That's been probably one of the biggest features that I love using on the PlayStation. Like, it doesn't bother me, but I'm on probably 5 to 7 nights of the week, and out of those 5 nights, I'll probably be playing games, 2 or 3 nights. The rest I'm just chatting, catching up with folks and whatnot. And so that's been huge. That's been just a great feature, and it's not even, nobody would think of it being a great feature, because it's just there. That's just how the consoles work. That's part of the deal. But it is such a tremendous feature that PlayStation brought over.
Well, as you've gone straight to party chat, I think I'll just expand on that a little bit with the ability to do integrated streaming straight from your console. I think that's huge, and again, something that's in there and we just take for granted. It's like, click a button, straight to Twitch, straight to YouTube, whatever you want to do, or Mixer, a rip. Stole Shane's word there. But it's just something that we've just come to just use straight away. And even those people who aren't, professional streamers or whatever, who just want to play a game and just share that, it works flawlessly, doesn't it? It just works. Like it's in there. It works really great, and it just makes a big difference to people. Just to, I'm going to stream this. People can have a little look at it and see what they think. So I think that's been a huge advancement from last generation.
We get a big advancement here that's probably going to be way more prevalent in this current upcoming generation for Xbox Series and PlayStation 5. Well, maybe not PlayStation 5, but on the PlayStation 4, they had remote play with the Vita. And I thought that was revolutionary. I don't think that was utilized by as many people as it should have been. It was a great feature. Now Xbox has their cloud gaming. I think these are wonderful things to be able to take my iPad and my fanny pack and my controller with me on vacation and be able to play one of these games, right? That's pretty tight. I've never been a guy to throw a console in a suitcase, because when I go on vacation, I'm on vacation. That's not my vacation works. But there's been plenty of times where I'm like on a work trip and I got the Switch with me, a long plane ride, or after your business day is over, you're just at the hotel kind of by yourself drinking. Nice to have the console in the suitcase, or better off, an iPad or a phone and your controller. I think it's something that started this generation, but it's going to be fully realized here more with this next year, probably. It's kind of been in beta and stuff. And I've just stuck my toe in the waters with that Xbox app now with the controller on the iPad, and it works wonderfully. So I could see that being, I think, as far as this generation, pretty awesome feature that is really going to push forward and become a really big thing. And I'd be curious to see if PlayStation does something similar here eventually. I mean, they got to.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know if this is directly related to this generation or whatnot, but the rise of indie distributors, online retailers like limited run games, Red Art games, strictly limited games, these smaller kind of distributors and whatnot, and just making physical copies of indie titles that wouldn't normally, that are digital only, basically. And that just really took off over this past generation, and I think it's fantastic. I think it, in an era where everything is kind of going digital, to be able to still find some. It's just I've listened to the show for some time. I love collecting physical games, and it's a big part. I love having it in my hand, even though there's 35 of them still sealed on my shelf, but I don't care. because I just love collecting that stuff and blowing money. It's great. But just seeing the rise of that and how popular it's become, and all these other little companies popping up and getting involved in it. And there's even games that, I've seen I'd never even heard of, but I've seen an ad for, this company's doing a pressing of this. There's, 1,000 copies or whatever. Like, oh, that looks cool. And so I've learned about games through these companies and whatnot. So that's been a big thing this generation with the PS4 and a lot of Vita titles as well for me.
Looks like the rest of our list here, unless Carl, you've got another high level feature, but otherwise looks like we just got games to talk about here for the rest of the. Is that right?
Yeah, I think so.
So rather than go ahead. Sorry,
I was just going to say about the limited run thing. I just think the way that's risen up in kind of almost retaliation to the digital thing, I do think that's been pretty remarkable. Like, digital and the push for digital only has become more and more prevalent. So the opportunity, and it obviously shows the desire for some of these physical games or the physical media to still be there. So yeah, I just want to say that I think that's cool.
I think for me, this last generation, Xbox One and PS4, I've seen a huge jump in the story quality, more noticeable to me than I think I can recall in the past. And I think of games like Red Dead Redemption 2 and The Last of Us Chapter 2. The stories in those games are better than anything that Hollywood's been churning out for years. I think the maturation of video game stories as being like the biggest form of media, interactive media to tell a good story. It's better than Hollywood. Those two games, especially for me, like the experience I had in Last of Us Chapter 2 is way superior to any movie I've watched in 10 years as far as newer release movies. So stronger stories in video games. I really noticed that with these two consoles.
And to continue that, for me, it was games like The Last Guardian and Nier Automata, games that just drew me in right away and just draw that emotion out of you when you're playing to the point where you can't put the game down. I mean, both these games I played for 2-3 days straight until I finished them. They're just having that type of writing to bring out all those emotions and whatnot. And like Joel said, like it's a lot better than you've seen in a lot of movies lately. So
yeah, I had way more feels in those games than I have watching any movie or any series lately on television or Netflix or whatever. And of course, I got to get sappy here for a moment. I think ABOG. This is the generation that ABOG became a thing, right?
Beat me to it.
Yeah. I mean, I met these two guys as part of this current generation. So it's going to have a special fondness to me when I think of these two consoles. And we've got backwards compatibility. So these things aren't going away. We'll still be playing our PS4 and Xbox One games for a long time to come. But that's when ABOG really got its groove going. So it's a special generation for that reason, in my mind.
Yeah.
Got to get sappy. I got to get sappy, right? I mean, that's how I roll. Anyway.
Always.
I joined in and like literally like 2-3 months before the consoles came out, and it's been, spot on, Joel. Like this generation has been, ABOG generation.
Yep. It's the ABOG generation. And maybe more generations, right?
Spoilers.
Yeah, be 65 years old talking about that PS7. Woo!
Right.
Well, now we've got
I'll still be playing Drive Club.
There you go.
Yeah. You own private server. Shane will have like 2 PCs running his own server for Drive Club,
Right.
I kind of took the high level feature set kind of approach to my list, but these guys got a list of games, so let's break the round robin. And Shane, you want to go through yours, and Carl go through your list then thereafter? The games.
Yeah, some great games, man. That infamous Second Son. I hadn't played the infamous games before that, and that one taking place in Seattle on the West Coast here. Obviously I gotta get involved somehow, and I did get involved because I bought the game and played through it, and it was fantastic. there's so many great games. It really is. The Crew 2, and Drive Club, going to be a couple of my favorite all-time racing games, easily from this past generation.
Yeah. I really think that it's took a step up, hasn't it? Especially graphically and just the way that everything handles and stuff. And like as it takes that little step up, you just get a bit more blown away by how good some of these games are. And The Witcher 3, for me, I know I've gone about this game a lot. It is, in my opinion, the defining game of the console generation. I don't think anything else comes close to it. I just think it's an incredible open world with like just deep lore, brilliant characters, brilliant side quests, a great story. And it's just a world you can get lost in. There's such in-depth mechanics to it, in terms of leveling your guy up and the different abilities and stuff that you can use, the mutations, the gear, the different sets of stuff, the crafting. Like, it's just a beautiful game to get lost in. And there's a few games on here where I've spent a lot of time. I haven't spent any more time in any other game this season than The Witcher 3. I think, almost 600 hours with one of the DLC packs left to do. And this is still a game I'll pick up and just go into. Like, if I've got half an hour, I'm like, I'll boot up The Witcher and just have a little mooch around and maybe uncover one or two more things on the map, or just hang around. Like, I can't wait to play this again on PS5. I really can't. Hell of a game. And I know some people can't get into it maybe and find it a bit, the barrier to entry a little bit high, but no game. Joel was talking then about story and about this Hollywood kind of feel to some of these games where they tell such great stories. And The Witcher 3, the quests in there, they're written so well, the characters are so well done. Like, it's just a joy, an absolute joy. So yeah, Witcher 3.
Any more?
I was waiting for Shane.
I walked away to get a beer and came back, and then it seemed like you guys were done. So sorry.
No, man. There's so many great indie games as well. Absolute Drift, little one-man studio, fantastic. And he also has got a new game out. I think it's just on Steam right now. The Art of Rally, which is it's the same kind of art style. It looks really, really great. I can't wait till this comes to PlayStation. I know it's going to. It's going to come to console, but it's currently only on PC right now. But the Art of Rally, take a look at that. That looks like a ton of fun. Be a really, really cool game.
I've got to go for Persona 5. It's a bit of a tease, I suppose, because it is on PS3 technically as well. But amazing game. Again, story's awesome. Like, the first Persona game you play is generally going to be your favorite Persona game, and this was mine. Finished it 3 times, and I bought the Real Edition, which came out this year, which I haven't played. I didn't think it was fair to be including that in a Game of the Year talk at the end of this year, because it probably would have been if I'd played through it again. And then we've got, just going back to that story point as well, Joel, God of War, like, what a great story in that game. And just flipping the mythology, let's go Norse this time, and it just hooks you in. It's just so well done, and it's got that Hollywood feel. There's a lot of these games that just feel that way. It's awesome stuff.
And let's not forget Overwatch. What a game!
Yeah,
brilliant game. Great, community game. I still play it, to this day. When they have, their seasonal events that they bring in. They just did another Halloween event. When they got those special events going down, man, that game, it's so much fun. Such a well-made game. Great concept, great, just everything about it they just nailed. And I can't wait for Overwatch 2. It's going to be fantastic.
Dude, great show.
Yeah, I got to be the cool neighbor here the other day. I was outside raking the leaves in the yard. The neighbor guy and his son shooting hoops, which really our driveways kind of run parallel with each other. And the kid's just yammering on about Overwatch. He's basically, long story short, he's begging his dad to buy him Overwatch. And he's like, if I make this, 50-foot shot, Dad, will you buy me Overwatch? It's just on and on and on and on about how he's got to buy him Overwatch. I put the rake down, walked in the house, grabbed the disc, walked it out, handed it to him. he's like,
No way.
It's like, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm like, yeah, you're welcome. It's like, when do you need it back? I'm like, just enjoy it. Take your time. Take your time. So yeah.
Oh, bless you, man. That's
Earn
that's
some
what
neighbor
it's all about,
cred
man.
there. And then his dad's like, yeah, I don't really like him playing shooters. I'm like, sorry.
That's different though, right? It's not
He's
like your textbook
going
shooter.
Joel.
We don't even let him play Fortnite. I'm like, oh crap.
It's under little Timmy's Christmas tree, no more.
Right?
But how great it's so relevant now, Shane. In 9 or 10-year-olds are, talking about it all these years later,
Right?
And he's like, Dad,
Yeah,
I gotta go put the disc in and like load it. I gotta load it before, and then I'll come back out and shoot hoops. And then I didn't see him again the whole night.
Oh, that's brilliant. What a champ. What a
Runs
champ.
upstairs, closes the curtains, locks the door. I'll be out in a day or two for food. I'm good.
Yeah.
Loaded up.
Exactly.
And I think if we're talking Overwatch, we've got to talk Rocket League as well. Like, that game is a phenomenon. Like,
landmark game.
Just awesome game. And like, me and the boy, I was talking to Luke about this the other day. We're trying to establish how long he'd played Rocket League for, because he's put like, I don't know, 600 hours in on PC and God knows how many in on console. Like, kids addicted to that. And we were talking about it, and I remember sending interviewing the guys at Cynix, or getting ready for an interview with ABOG, and sent the questions off just as they were almost about to launch the game, because me and the boy were so into supersonic acrobatic rocket battle cars on the PS3. We played that game all the time, and we were like, "Oh my God, it does!" God knows why they changed it. And we were like, "Yeah, man, we are stoked for this game." And at that point, you can imagine that the audience for that game was pretty small. This was an indie game, a niche game. And so, I reached out like, let's do an interview. And they're like, yeah, brilliant. And then all of a sudden they got so busy, like it just went through the roof, and we just never got there with that. But it was not, in some ways it was nice to see. Like, it was nice to see this little studio who just all of a sudden have no time to do anything other than get this game out. And then they got bought by Epic. Like, it's a great story.
And they stuck to their guns. They had a great idea in their head, and the first generation of the game didn't really do it. But when you have a great idea, you need to stick with it. It might need a little bit of tweaking here and there. You might need to bounce something off somebody else. Just get a little bit better ideas and whatnot. Fine tune. That core idea, and you can really have something. It's just a great story of that game, and coming out and just being just massive. And I think that's one of those landmark games that kind of changed some kind of online video games and whatnot at the time. It really kind of blew up with communities and esports and whatnot. It's a huge game, and the fact that it's free to play now is one of the smartest moves. Incredibly smart move to get that free to play. Right, Carl?
Right. I was literally just drinking a beer then. Like,
cheap.
You've got to stay hydrated, right?
Yeah.
But genius move, and you're right. It changed the landscape of esports in particular, and Overwatch. To be fair, you've now got teams from all over the world doing this stuff, and it's just massive. So I guess that's something else with this console generation, just esports in general. It was traditionally a PC thing. And PS3, you had a couple of things kind of knock on the door, I guess. Some great community games, the likes of Warhawk, and you had like some of the Tom Clancy stuff, very focused on team play and stuff. You get into this generation, all of a sudden you've got games which are just straight into esports. It's like, oh, you can play this on your console, get ready to play on PC, and you're away. So, yeah, it's been a great generation, chaps, hasn't it?
It really has. And we ran this question by our Discord community. The fine folks who joined us in Discord, which you can do as well. Link at the bottom of our website, abandofgamers.com. For Tim Paulin, our buddy, our YouTuber. Guy puts up YouTube videos for us all the time. If you haven't checked out our Abandoned Gamers YouTube channel, you can see Tim playing his way through lots of great games. He's got, in no particular order, Horizon Zero Dawn, Quantum Break, Forza Horizon 4, Red Dead Redemption 2, and Drive Club.
Ooh.
Nice.
Yeah, FAC 23 or FAC 23, who Carl's going to be drinking a beer to here shortly. He's got Red Dead Redemption 2, Fallout 4, God of War, The Last of Us, Part 2, and Horizon Zero Dawn. Man, so many great games. Forget all the great games. Michael Patterson 1, Bloodborne, Horizon Zero Dawn, Breath of the Wild. There you go, buddy. Yakuza 6. And I couldn't think of a fifth game. I think I asked for 5.
That's
Yeah. What else we got here? Scrolling. Kafad. Last and certainly not least, top 5 of this generation. No Xbone, because I don't own one. Sorry. It's all good, man. Red Dead Redemption 2, number 5. Number 4, Beat Saber.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was the generation of PlayStation VR for the first time.
Yeah.
Forgot about that. Horizon Zero Dawn is number 3. Rocket League, number 2. And number 1, Spider-Man.
Oh, fantastic stuff.
That was a great game.
There's so many great games in there.
So thank you to everybody who dropped in some comments there in the Discord. Appreciate it. You know, we do this show for free. Well, you listen to it for free. We pay for it. But we're cool with that. We don't mind paying for it. We're never going to do a Patreon. We're never going to drop a link and make you click through to buy something from Amazon. It's always going to be a free experience for you. But you know what we love? You know what really helps kind of put fuel in our tank and keep us going? It motivates us, keeps that ambition going, is when people like you join Discord. It's when you leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen. And when you tell a friend. So if you want to help your buddies out in ABOG, if you want to throw us a nickel, if you will, that's how you can do it. Leave a review, join us in Discord, let's chat, let's hang out, or tell a friend. Let's keep this thing going for, let's see if we can make it to PlayStation 7.
Ooh.
Man, that's a goal. So we'll be old. I'd be peeling me out of my wheelchair for that one.
Well, you guys will be, you know.
You'd just be graduating college then, wouldn't you?
Could be, man.
Benjamin Button.
I love it.
Man, we've been trying to keep him to an hour, but I mean, we had a special episode here kind of remembering back the current generation. I feel like we're ready to transition now. Ready to make that smooth transition. I think there's been a few listeners who are like, you guys shut up already about the Xbox Series and the PlayStation 5. I mean, this is what happens. You get excited when these new things are coming out. It's been, I admit it's been dominating a lot of our conversations, but it was nice to remember back. And if you have any that we missed here, send us an email, abogpod@gmail.com, or join our Discord and drop them right in there. It's in our Abandoned Gamers podcast thread. I'd love to hear from you. Would love to meet you. Come on over there. But let's talk about a few games. Let's talk about our beers, and let's keep it snappy, guys, because we're already over an hour. How's that?
Easy peasy.
All right. Take her away.
All right. So I did the pre-order, talked about it in the last episode about NHL 21, which is fantastic. Still playing a lot of that. I'm loving the Hut Rush real quick games, earning points, earning packs. Got a lot of great players. Just having a blast with it, not having to dump any more money, and it's fantastic. But with that pre-order came the free download of NHL 94 Rewind, where they've basically it's the NHL 94 game, but they have updated rosters and all the updated current teams, which I think is fantastic. It's really, really cool to see teams like Vegas Golden Knights, and the newer Winnipeg Jets and Columbus. These teams, seeing them in the 94 game is fantastic. So that dropped a couple Fridays back. So I've been playing a lot of that. And it's just what you remember. Just fantastic NHL 94 fun. Great stuff on there. Man, it's taken me a little bit to figure out how to score again.
Yeah.
It was really, really tricky for the first little while. But now I'm back, get some of those backdoor goals. Those are great, So yeah, I've just been really happy with that. It's just nice to have on the PlayStation dashboard, just fire it up at any time, get through a quick game or whatever, just kill some time, chatting with friends and whatnot. It's great for that. And it was with the pre-order of NHL 21. However, EA has come out and said that there will be an opportunity for others to pick it up in early December. So if you've been looking at it and didn't really want to pre-order, you just want it kind of standalone, beginning of November, early November, or December, sorry. December, you should keep an eye out on EA because there'll be more information coming about that, and hopefully get your hands on it because it is some nostalgic retro fun, which is super good.
Does it feel and play exactly like you remembered the 94 version? Is it spot on retro feel?
Pretty much, yeah.
That's great to hear. What a cool idea.
Unfortunately, I only have the Super Nintendo versions, and I'm not even going to try to compare them to because there is no comparison. The Genesis version, which is the proper version, is the one. Yeah. But that comes with the territory of having a team that knows absolutely nothing about hockey try to port it from the Genesis over to Super Nintendo, hence why it was so kind of crappy and glitchy and slow. But whatever. Besides the point.
See, John, we talk retro games. Thank you. Full circle.
You're welcome. And then this past Friday, a few days ago, the Need for Speed Hot Pursuit remaster came out. Hot Pursuit was one of my favorite Need for Speeds on the PlayStation 3, and it's got a nice little remaster. Looks a lot better. Man, it plays just like it used to, and it's taken a little bit to get used to the handling again. We've come a long way over this generation with car physics and arcade handling and whatnot. Mm-hmm. So it definitely has taken a few races to kind of figure out it's really touchy. It's really touchy, but it looks good. And like I said, it was one of my favorite Need for Speeds back then. So I'm just enjoying it regardless. And, getting back on there, doing some pursuits, some hot pursuits, and, fire up the old Crown Vic, take down some racers. It's great. It's a lot of fun. They got the auto log in there, for, some score chasing, the leaderboards, get your time, who will survive. So it's been a lot of fun. I'm enjoying that, but yeah, it definitely feels like 10 years old, but it looks great. And, once you get a little bit of that adjusting, you'll be just fine and back in there.
Yeah. I suppose they got a taste of that with Burnout, right? Put the Burnout Paradise City out. Now they're putting this one out. Maybe they should have just left it at Burnout Paradise, perhaps. Because that game is special. That's a little different. You can't just go back to all of your most popular racing games and just redo them.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Well, then give me Most Wanted back. Bring Most Wanted back. The original one.
The original Most Wanted.
Right. The one on the Xbox that was brutally hard. Bring that one back.
Yes.
I need another chance at that. Still never got through that one.
Yeah. That's another reason why I like supporting and picking up these remasters. I know people, it's kind of touchy for some, but you know what? I think, I keep buying them and whatnot, hoping that, when the Burnout Paradise one came out, it's like, oh, hopefully, maybe they'll remaster Hot Pursuit. Well, here we are, and okay, you keep those sales up, keep spending those dollars. We're going to see more of them and more great games that, kind of deserve a remaster or even a complete remake. Those are great too, right? It's nice to have, the older game that you grew up with that you loved and put so many hours in, and now it's coming back and, remade is, brand new all over again. And it just brings all those emotion and feels right back. And you can't really put a price on that, really. It's fantastic. But I mean, Hot Pursuit, I'm not, trying to dog on it or anything. It's just, it's been a bit of a learning curve trying to get that handling down and, that arcadiness and figure out my drifts again and figuring out those spots. So a few more days of that, a couple more weeks, will be right in there at the top of the leaderboard again. I'm saying it right now. Be ready. Well, I'm always ready, but yeah. So it's been fun.
Awesome, man.
You're always ready for a racing game anyway. You're always ready for a car racing game, dude.
I'm a ready dude.
Yeah, just a ready dude. I didn't play any car games. I took part in Extra Life yesterday. So stayed awake for 24 hours playing video games from 5 a.m. to 5 a.m. this morning. And I went through a few games in that period. I streamed most of them. But I had a little bit of offline time, playing some games with the missus and stuff. So, but I'll just run quickly through what I played. Genshin Impact, which is a great game, really, really good. Very much like Breath of the Wild, but better in my opinion. it's a excellent game. It's free to play. Go check it out on Android, on PC, on PS4. Halo Master Chief Collection. Jumped on, played a few Xbox games, Joel, on the PC.
Oh, I totally missed it.
Yeah, Halo Reach was I'm just starting from the beginning, so I played through most of that game.
Oh wow!
Still looks great. I mean, it looks great, performs great. I'm not too happy with the control interface, but I think I'll get to learn it if I play them back to back. But yeah, fun game. Enjoyed that one. Spelunky 2 on the PC. So that's a game that was new out this year, back in September. So I decided to play that with the boy online. We played co-op, which was crazy for a couple of hours. Streamed that, and much to everyone's hilarity. That game just improves on the original. The original game, very, very much an indie game. Developed by Derek Yu. All of his original ideas are carried across into this game. It's got all the same stuff in there, which it just pops more. It's a lot prettier, it's a lot more refined, and just a beautiful game, and so difficult but rewarding at the same time. A game that you might like, Joel, called East Shade, which is on Game Pass. This is kind of like a bit of a walking simulator adventure game. You just stroll around. You're basically on a shipwreck, and you land on an island. You wander around. You talk to people. You interact with people, and you paint pictures. So you find a nice bit of scenery. You paint a picture of it, and it kind of adds a little bit to the story. And you just discover a lot of things, and you talk to a lot of people. You understand a lot of lore about what's going on this island and what's happened there and stuff. It's very relaxing and pretty. Nice game.
I like that you think of me when you think about walking simulator and painting pictures. Here's a game your speed, Joel. You paint pictures. You're right. It's dead on. It's embarrassed to say yes. It sounds like my kind of game there, bro.
But it's really nice. Like it's a really, really nice little game. It just jumped out at me. I was like, well, that's a bit different. So yeah, it's weirdly all the people on the island, they're all animals, like people walking on two legs like humans, but everyone's an animal. So not quite sure what's going on there, but
so that's pretty much my wheelhouse.
Yeah, it's worth a bash, mate. It's on Game Pass. It's free. Give it a little go and have a look. And Persona 4 Golden. Now, this is a game I've got on the Vita. Had it on there for a long time. Never played it. Had it on PC when it came out a couple of months ago, and hadn't started it. And I've been watching a friend of mine on Your Six, Justin from the Last Day Loaded podcast. He's been streaming Persona 5, and I've been going back in there, just catching up on it, because I like to watch people play games I've already finished. And he's talked about this. He's been chatting, him and Trillion on Twitter, just been chatting about this game. And I'm like, I need to play Persona 4. So I jumped in and started this yesterday. And I'm glad I did. It's really, really good. It's Persona. There's a lot of things, if you played any of them before, that are going to jump out of you. It's all sounds very familiar, but it's just a different style, different story, different characters. And already I'm hooked on it and want to play more. So yeah, that's another one, hopefully, that will be off the backlog shortly.
Well done, man. So how'd we do? Sounds like our team did pretty well with raising some money to help the children.
Yeah, we didn't do too bad, actually. And our good friend Tim Pauling deserves a lot of credit for this, because he reached out a few weeks back and was like, are we doing Extra Life? Do we want to give this a go? And I know we had last year off. We had a chill last year, and just because it is a taxing thing, when you do it every year. And I was thinking, well, I can't go anywhere. We're locked down. I might as well do it, stay at home and do this. So we've almost raised $2,000. I think we're at $1,922.
Wow.
Awesome, man.
As a team. We've still got some to go as well in there. I've raised, I think, just over 600. So I didn't get to the $1,000 to dress up as Princess Leia, but obviously it's still there. If people want to donate and push towards that target, you can do. And I'll organise a Princess Leia stream further down the line. We did unlock a Thor stream, so I will at some point dress up as the God of Thunder and stream for an hour or two. And I guess that'll be fun.
How much to Princess Leia? How much more do we need to get you to Princess Leia outfit?
It's $393 to get to Princess Leia, but we'll see. If we don't get there, we don't get there. But there's always next year.
was going to say Shane and I should chip in on that, but that's a little rich right now with these new consoles coming out from my blood. But,
but we'll see. We'll see what's happened with the team total as well. When Extra Life's all finished up, and we'll see what's happened. But there's a lot of people interested in obviously seeing me embarrass myself in that way. So, and I'm game. Anything to raise money. So if you want to do it, hit the button.
Love it. Just search for A Band of Gamers right on Extra Life. It's easy to find.
Yeah.
Donate to anybody in there. Well, Carl, you should, because Princess Leia, and he's got long hair. He's going to put the Princess Leia buns on and everything, and like the side of his head. Probably put a bra on. It's going to be exciting. I'm looking forward to him dressing up as Leia. A gown. Shane and I were trying to get him to, probably more me, but I'm like, you should put the Return of the Jedi bikini on if you're going to do it. Do it full right. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, that'd ruin that fantasy for a lot of people.
It probably would. Yeah, a little too hairy there. Last episode, Carl went through and thanked everybody for participating. So if you probably heard your name there if you participated. Thank you, everybody who plays Extra Life, all of you out there, even if you're not part of our team. Such a great cause. Sounds like Dora the Deviant, our friend there in Discord, is going to be playing here upcoming. So we still have a chance to get to that 2,000. I'm challenging you, Dora the Deviant. Help us push us over there. Do a couple streams or something. Entertain everybody, and let's get that up over $2,000. Be pretty wonderful. Is Dora even on our team?
He is indeed.
Okay.
He is indeed.
Perfect.
Yeah,
should have researched that.
No, he couldn't quite make this weekend, but he's doing his in December. I think it's I don't want to get the date wrong, but I think it's like the 18th or something around there. But I know he's pushed it out on Twitter. We'll retweet that as well, so we'll share that. But he's definitely doing it then. But I think he's streaming some new console stuff as well. So look out for his PS5 and maybe, who knows? Maybe you'll get some Demon Souls or something out of him. Not quite sure, but we'll find out.
I love it. Well, we've been drinking beers the whole time. I'm on my second different variety of beer, so I'm changing my direction with what I'm going to share and what we're going to talk about. Anything else, gentlemen, before we get to sharing what's in our beers? And I think we're just going to share what's in our beers this week. Last few episodes, we kind of went off and had some casual chit chat. But I think this time we'll call it a shorter show. Hopefully, you never know. But anything else, guys, in gaming before we share what we're drinking and take us to the new generation?
Beers.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, no, that's some good game in action for one epi.
Not bad. Not bad at all.
You don't give the kids too much, especially with big console releases this week.
Yeah, and we all want to see a bearded Leia. So get on that Extra Life donations. All right, Carl, you got a special one. Why don't you share what you've got in your pint glass there, pal?
I do indeed. If you're not in our Discord, obviously it's a great place to hang out. And we do have a lot of people sharing different things, really. We got great stuff on health. We've got music. We've got food in there. But we've got a little cheers tab in there where we share some delicious brews. And one of our listeners, Fact23, Chris, he's shared a few of these beers from a brewery in Cheltenham in the UK called DEYA Brewing Company. And I was looking at some of these brews he's been drinking. I was like, I need those in my life. So I asked for a big box of beer from them, which they've kindly sent through. So I'm currently ploughing through that. Some very, very tasty brews. And this week I'm just going to share, this might be a regular feature. To be fair, I've got some to get through. They've got a nice hazy IPA. It's called Into the Haze. A lot of the cans of it, it's very straightforward. It's a very small brewery. So they're just, the old silver cans. I know, Joel, when me and you were in Florida last year, we went to, I can't forget the name of the brewery, but it was a similar thing, just the stock silver cans with just different stickers on them, really. But it kind of looks like an angry Pokemon or something.
Yeah.
Got a tree as a head and like fruit as the eyes. And it's a nice little haze. It's 6.2%. It's reasonably... It's not thick. It's not too heavy.
You can't see through it.
You can't see through it, but it's not mega thick. It's like it's not like orange juice level. It's kind of, I'd say like pineapple juice maybe.
Middleweight
along those lines. But it's very citrusy, and it's got a lovely hint of peach. So it's not too bitter at all. It's very smooth. Kind of leaves you a little bit smacking your chops afterwards. It's got that taste that lingers. Very good beer. I'm quite impressed so far with this lot, and I'm sure there'll be a few more to check in on the show if I don't drink them all. But yeah, quite impressed. I always like finding a new little brewery, especially in the UK, because we've got quite a lot of these craft breweries and stuff that have opened up, especially in lockdown. A lot of people tend to be ordering these things in. So, yeah, if you have any more, please feel free to suggest them to us, and we'll do our best to sample.
Hell yeah! How about you, Shane? You all ready over there? You got it poured? You ready to share what you're drinking?
Yeah, man. Got one from one of my favorite breweries, Boombox Brewing. They're fantastic, doing some great stuff. And every so often they'll kind of collaborate with a local restaurant and whatnot, and do a brew, and then exclusively through that restaurant. If you buy like a burger and you get a beer with it or whatnot, and you get one of these cans, one of their exclusives, whatnot. They've had a few of them, and they're really small runs. So I've missed out on a couple of them, but I was able to get one of this one. This one's really cool. It's an IPA, and it's called Baseline Dunks. And the cool thing with this is their label art on this is done to look like a basketball.
Yeah,
which is that's kind of cool, right? I guess. But the sticker is actually textured like a basketball. So if you run your fingers over it, you get all those little nubs and whatnot, and then the black lines are kind of flat, kind of like the tape and whatnot. And it's just a really, really unique can, and it's just a really neat kind of experience to just run your hands along. It's just really wild, really, really cool. Weighs in at 6.5. How do you like that, Carl? To up you by a couple points there.
Nicely done.
You beat me by 0.3.
I try to, man. But yeah, it's textbook,
almost like a
IPA, I guess.
Like a lemonade kind of color to it. A little bit more on the lighter side.
Yeah, a lot of sentiment in there. It's kind of thick. But actually, it looks a lot like Carl's there.
Yeah, you guys are holding your glasses up. It's almost the same color. That's wild.
Yeah, pretty close, man.
Yeah.
Really, really close. Mine's really dank. It's bitter, dank. I'm not getting a whole lot of that sweetness, a little bit of citrus, but very, very dank. Really nice. Been a nice change to have a few of these.
Awesome. Well, I've got one from, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of this place, 1840 Brewing. They just did a collab with a band. One of their favorite local bands. So brewed in collaboration with one of our favorite local bands, the Crusaders of Creep Funk. Steez. Band is called Steez, Steez. Check them out. They're on Bandcamp. Good music. It's a double IPA. Juicy and dank, just like the jams that Steez throws down. It's got a very cool kind of Halloween looking sort of label with the font that they use, but it's called Creep Funk Haze because they're pretty kind of like a harder funk, more of a like rock and roll funk kind of style band. Think like Polyrhythmics, maybe. Just good jams, but a little darker than what my bros have here, being a double IPA, and it's an 8%.
Whoa!
Yeah, so I'll never get you in trophies, but I'll get you in percentage points.
Right. All day, every day.
It's very good. It's got a great flavor to it. I got 8 of these, and this is my last one. But, special occasion. So raise them glasses, gentlemen. Cheers to the next generation of consoles and ABOG. Taking that to the next level generation as well. Cheers, guys.
Cheers, boys.
Cheers.
And cheers to you as well. We appreciate you tuning in, listening. Thank you very much.
There's plenty more I want to talk about, but I don't go there, so I won't. And I'm not. So let's just take her out of here for what will be the time next 2 weeks from now when we have the new consoles. We kind of talk through what the Tower of Power and the Series X are doing for us at home.
Yep. And if you pick one up, if you got one, let us know what you think. How do you like it? What games did you get?
Yeah.
Let us know. Well, maybe there's something, we're missing when you fire that thing up. We want to know your opinions and your thoughts on it too. So let us know. Hop into our Discord. Join us. We got a good crew in there.
That's right. All right, everybody. Thank you very much. Thank you for listening. We appreciate you. Later, guys.
Bye.
Peace. Good night.